Well, we're here. We have all the babies. I had to make sure we got all the babies because, as you can imagine, there are some horses that are not on our list, and what that means is they're owned privately by clients, and they don't make the stable list because that's where all the shares are bought and sold, the horses, and there's no need to when the horses are solely owned. We want to make sure we mention them, though. So we're going to try and insert them in alphabetical order. We did this one already. Another ruined day. Brutal. This one and this one, they're on the list. So we have 4 horses, 4 babies that are not on our list. We're going to go through them and try and insert them in the proper area. We're going to start with Ailsund. Ailsund is a nice filly that we had bought from the Ohio sale. When we knew, and I mentioned it when we bought her. She's got OCDs. You can see them. There was some swelling in both the main joints of her hocks. Sure enough, we got her home. There was OCDs in both. We took them out. She jogged today. The horses we jogged today were horses that needed the work, that were a little bit behind the other horses. So we jogged her today. She looked great. This is the first time in a week I saw her jog, just because she got jogged early in the morning when I was not here yet. And everybody said she looked good, and by all accounts, she looked great today. Very happy with what I've seen from Ailsund. Another horse I'm very, very happy with is Anteros. I talked to everybody, and you know what? I'm done talking and pushing Anteros. People say, oh, he's got that sway back, and it's going to be a problem. I have no idea what you're talking about or why it would be a problem. If it was going to be a problem, it already would be. This horse was born this way and grew up this way, and he trots great on the track and looks like $1 million. You're going to see it. I was excited to go with this horse today. You're going to see it next Saturday. Anteros is a horse I'm keeping a very, very close eye on. This is an Ontario bred EL Titan Colt. He's got some pop to him, this fellow, so far anyway. So as we talk about these horses right now, obviously, I have no idea how fast they're going to go, how long they can carry their speed, how big their lungs are, their desire is, their heart is. I can only tell you what I see right now in real time, as they say. And Anteros is a horse that I'm very impressed with. Obviously, I'm a little biased. I always cheer for the underdogs also. But Anteros is a horse that is impressive in my eyes. New horse to the stable, Arctic Force. This is a big, big boy. He is by American Ideal. We bought him in the Harrisburg sale. Now, here's a perfect example. We've sent horses over to the vets to be fluoroscoped. They said, oh, there's an OCD here, there's an OCD here. I'd take them out, and we took them out. This horse actually has a tiny OCD in one hock and in one ankle, and we opted not to take them out. The surgeon looked at them and said, it's not going to be a problem. As you can imagine, just a miniature, just microscopic piece of, well, not microscopic, but tiny little fragment of calcium. If it's already attached to the, I guess it, don't quote me on this, but attached to the wall, it's not going to cause a problem. They don't take them out. They don't want to do invasive surgeries unless they believe it's going to help. And lots of horses have raced forever with OCD fragments. So not a big deal. In this case, Arctic Force does not need them out at all. As you can imagine, well, you're going to see, he's a big boy. So we're concerned about his knees just because of his growth. We're going to keep a very close eye on this horse's knees and go easy with him when we need to and push him when we can. That's not because there's anything wrong with him. It's just that we recognize a big tank of a horse when we see one, and he is one gorgeous colt. So Arctic Force, a horse that we have on the special needs list right off the bat, not because there's any issues. There's nothing that needs to be done with those little OCDs that are there. We just want to keep an eye on him. I want to see that his feet are cold all the time. He's comfortable on the track all the time, because as we put corks on them, we want to keep an eye on that their knees are closing up. We might take some pictures of him and a couple other bigger horses as the winter drags on, just to make sure we're giving them every opportunity, 1, to grow, but 2, to do it at their own rate. So Arctic Force, just a beautiful, beautiful American. Well, you know that I didn't want virtually any Pacers or New York Breds in Harrisburg, and I bought a New York Bred Pacer. So you can only imagine how good he looks. That's Arctic Force. Filly I loved out of Indiana, Beach Boutique. This is a horse by Bring On the Beach, a full brother to some beach somewhere, breeding in Indiana. His first season in Indiana. My God, I love this filly. I said she was kicking and being bad at the start, but she's one of them ones where, don't look at her the wrong way. Don't roar at her. Don't try and rough her up, because she'll hit you with the right hook, and that's how she is. And I told the girl that takes care of her, Megan, I said, this filly will grow to be your favorite horse in the barn. I guarantee you she will. I go with her every day. I like this filly a lot. I'm very, very impressed with her gait, and I like her attitude. She'll do everything you ask, just don't tell her. and that's how she is. We have Bend Over. Bend Over is a colt we bought in Ohio, and he is a beautiful. I keep saying the wrong sire in a couple of these, and everybody keeps saying, I keep telling you it's not by. He is an Uncle Peter. Bend Over is an Uncle Peter. I'm 98% sure he is, but he's a nice looking horse too. I wanted to put some toe weights on him. I'm good that I'm doing this video now. I want to get out and do that. Put toe weights on this colt. Beautiful gait, beautiful breeding. His mother was an Indiana champion, and everybody that's one of our clients from Indiana every week or so says, hey, how's that Bend Over doing? His mother was a really, really good horse, you know. I said, yeah, she made $500,000, and I guess was what you would call a state champion for quite a while. So Bend Over is a horse that has a lot of eyeballs on him. He was sold out immediately, and he's a good-looking horse. So that's Bend Over. Bottle of Red. Bottle of Red is a New York bred. There it is right there, New York. A New York bred filly by Heston Blue Chip. And this filly came in from the Goshen sale, so she definitely didn't have to jog today. She's got a lot of work already done, and just a really nice filly. I don't get to go with her that often just because she does everything right, and she's such a beautiful filly to be around. So I don't get a chance to go with her, but I saw her last week, and I like what I saw. Mario goes with her often. I think Steve went with her last week. I don't know who I had down on her today, but I wasn't going to get a chance to go with her. But a filly I like very much so, and a filly that I think everybody's gonna soon see her talent level once she learns to pace as quick as I think she'll be able to. Very well bred, beautifully gaited daughter of Heston Blue Chip, and that's Bottle of Red. Brush Cut, another Heston Blue Chip colt. This is a colt. So here's the thing. When we had King of the Ball last year, he looked impressive training down. It didn't pan out so far with him, but he looked impressive training down. And when I went to the sale, I said to everybody, you know, the New York breds, they don't sell out as quick, I think because of the licensing issues we have, and but I think we can get that. I'll be honest. I'll give Mark Treffy a little shout out. I think we can get the New York licensing under control. I think it's like most places. I like Pennsylvania because I got to deal with a guy one-on-one. It's been very, very good to us. Ohio, same thing. Indiana, we always run into somebody that wants to help and helps streamline and expedite us getting our clients licensed. And we haven't found somebody in New York, and maybe that was the problem. So we have a couple of New York clients that say, hey, you need to call this guy at this office or whatever. They'll help you out. So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this year will be a breakout year for us in New York as far as licensing and whatnot. We have another trainer other than Andrew Harris that has come forward with who bought a piece of a trotting filly we have here in really Blue Chip, and his name is Scott D. Domenico. He has a rather large barn that does very well in New York and New Jersey, well, everywhere. So Scott's going to end up playing a role also. And we have very competent trainers, affiliate trainers off-site. So I think New York, maybe this is a breakout year for us. The thing for me about Brush Cut is I still own a lot of shares of this colt, and I'm a little surprised. I mean, this is a well-bred colt with some pretty prolific brothers and sisters, and then his mother is a sister to the mother of Lather Up, one of the best 3-year-olds in North America this year, is in the second dam of this colt. I mean, this is an exceptionally well-bred colt, and as good as you think he's bred, actually looking at him, he's even better. He's just a gorgeous, big, strong colt. And the thing that deters me about the New York thing is I still own a big chunk of this colt. As far as I'm concerned, this is a $40,000 horse that we bought for, I think I paid $17,000 for him, and I think I had him priced at $35 or $40, and that's the exact reason that I jumped in at $17. He was just worth more to me than we were getting, and this is what we do here. But at the same time, Brush Cut, you're going to keep an eye. I'm not going to have to tell you to keep an eye on this guy. You're going to keep an eye on him on yourself very, very soon. This is a good-looking colt in Brush Cut. Cabernet is a really, really nice filly that we bought in Ohio. This is the filly out of the sister to... every week I forget that mare's name. Somebody's going to text me the name, and I'm going to go, thank you, I already know. This is the Artspeak filly, the first one we got. I really like this filly. This is another filly I don't get to ever go with, and everybody tells me how nice she is. I get to see her on the track, but I haven't literally sat behind her since the first or second day I went with her. But she does everything right as she always has since the day we broke her. Cabernet, and she's an Artspeak, Pennsylvania bred filly. Next one's an Ontario bred trotter, a Canadian Titan. This was my number one pick in the London sale. Finally sold her out, which I thought was odd. We had to wait that long to sell her out. Finally got her sold out, and now she looks as good as we hoped she could. Mario loves this filly. He's very protective of her. He always wants to go there. Obviously, Mario knows that he wants to train a number of these Ontario breds. So as the year goes on, he's trying to scout which ones he likes the best, so they end up in his barn. And he's very protective of Canadian Titan, which I don't blame him. She is a good-looking filly. Canadian Titan's done everything right so far. Cheatin' Dixie. This is a filly. I own a lot of her, too, a New York bred. Big filly by Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. Now, obviously, I don't have a problem with Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. We bought Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe filly that hasn't really come on yet as we wanted her to. And Dewey Ann, she won her first lifetime start, and then she gets sore, and we're still working with her. And then, obviously, the good trotter that we broke 2 years ago. I keep forgetting that horse's name. Do you remember that horse's name? The good Hall horse at the Dancer Hall. Thank you. Bingo. Curtis got it. 5 points for Curtis. Dancer Hall was a Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe that we broke. He's got like $250,000 made now and trotted in 51 and 52 this summer. He is a Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe. I love this filly's attitude. I saw her leaping around. This filly's been broke a month. She's still leaping around and being rambunctious on the track, and I like that attitude. She'll polish up nice. She's got a beautiful gait, big long gait on her. This Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe filly we bought from the Morrisville, first ever horse, only horse we've ever bought, I think, from Morrisville, was Cheatin' Dixie, and I'm very happy to have her. Next is Classic Con. This is a horse that Mario Bergeron was lobbying me very hard to buy at Goshen. He went for $12,000. I had no problem buying him, and he bought into the horse. He loves him. Here's the horse that isn't in Ontario, won't be staying with Mario, but Mario owns a piece of him and loves the horse, keeps him in his aisle, even though that stall could be taken up by an Ontario bred. He keeps Classic Con very, very close to him and goes with him all the time. Tells me how much he likes him every time he's on the track. Classic Con. This is a Conway Hall, New York bred colt that we're very, very happy with. Also, Classy Will, another horse I don't get to see him a lot. He's an I'm Gorgeous colt. We bought this horse out of Joe McLeod's consignment. What's it? Sugar Valley? Sugar Valley Farms. He was a good-looking colt. Looked really good on the floor. I don't get to go with him a lot also. I can't say there's any faults from what I saw on the track the other day. I was pretty happy with him. There's a Butler did a jogging right there. I was pretty happy with Classy Will. No complaints so far. You're not going to find a ton of complaints on here from me. We just got these horses broke. If they're acting up, we're going to cut them some slack. I don't really see any real issues with any of the ones we have. So I don't want to be the guy that says, oh, they're all going good. They're doing exactly what we need them to do for the most part. I can't think off the top of my head one horse that's doing it wrong, and certainly Classy Will is not. The next filly I really like is Compass Rose DC. My only complaint was when she's going very slow speed, it looks like she might brush a knee, but as you speed her up, she gets up higher over it and widens out like a lot of trotters do. So Compass Rose DC, although I wore a set of knee boots on her here for the first 2 training trips, I don't think she'll need them. She clears up over her knee and just a little bit wide, which is perfect for her. Now, what she'll do going, real fast speeds, I don't know, but I've been very happy with the progression I've seen in her, and she has got a great attitude and a great gait. This is an Uncle Peter filly we bought out of Ohio earlier. She was very modestly priced. Just a really, really nice filly in what I've seen so far. Crazy Mission, our top horse that we bought from the Buckeye Classic when I was in New Zealand. This was the only reason we were at the Buckeye sale, was to buy this horse. This is the brother to Define the World by Man of Many Missions. Made a few little breaks the other day, bouncing around. We put a little weight on him, changed his shoes. I think you'll see those little breaks dissipate now and go away. Just a matter of polishing him up. Danny was very happy with him. He's always in with sets where I just can't go with him. And you guys have heard this for 2 years. I just can't go with that horse this week. Can't go with this horse. This guy hasn't made the list where I need to go with him, and he's just too good looking for me to go with him just yet. I'm still trying to go with the ones that need polishing, and this guy, just a little weight is all he needed, not so much polishing. Crazy Mission, another horse, Man of Many Missions, another Ohio bred colt we're very, very interested in and happy we have. Then we have a horse. I've had people email me from time to time say, don't believe me, just watch. Where'd he come from? What did you give for him? How did you get him? Is he as small as he looks? Yes, he's a small horse. He's watching was a small horse. We got this guy, if you can remember way back when, we had Peregrine Blue Chip. Very high hopes. One of the most crushing losses, mistakes over the last 2 years. We had her paid into the Breeders' Crown at 2. We trained her down, treated her like a real good horse. She just couldn't get there. Couldn't get there. Hopefully she makes a good broodmare, because I didn't dislike the filly. Obviously, having her do no good was upsetting, to say the least, but she just didn't turn out to what we needed her to be, so we traded her. Somebody had Don't Believe Me, Just Watch, Tommy Riley, where we turned out our horses, was looking to sell this horse. He didn't really have room for one yearling. He owns a turnout farm and didn't want to be trying to break one horse and train it down by itself, so we worked out a deal. I gave him Peregrine Blue Chip and some cash, and we ended up with this colt. So a fairly inexpensive colt, well bred. His mother was a really tough customer when she was racing, and Hudson Gal, very, very nice mare. And Don't Believe Me, Just Watch. He is small, but hey, don't believe me, just watch. Just watch him go. I think he's a good-looking horse with a nice gait. And at this point, all these horses could be any kind of horse. It will be up to them. So we will see what goes on with Don't Believe Me, Just Watch. A horse, when you talk about well-bred, we all know who the best-bred horse probably in the property is, and that's Effusive. This is the brother to Muscle Mass and Muscle Massive by Father Patrick. The average, I keep saying this every time, the average sale price of his siblings was $282,000 American per yearling. The average in his family, and there's 7 in his family. So you can only imagine how talented this family has been, and hopefully it continues with this guy. Well-bred in the sire, Father Patrick, and the mother speaks for herself. So Effusive, hands down, the best-bred horse on this property, and we got high hopes for him. I said at the sale, I knew why we got him for $32,000 when we got him. They just had him in the wrong place at the wrong time. Great place for us, bad place for them. Effusive's done everything right. He looked great the other day. I got a chance to go with him the other day. I thought the colt looked great. Next is Emerald Miss. Here's a horse that I didn't think that looked that good 2 weeks before. And I had to look back. It was funny. Somebody sent me, if you go onto our YouTube channel, somebody sent me my video for Bourbon and Barley. Do you remember Bourbon and Barley? So Bourbon and Barley, there's 2 horses out of Bourbon and Barley's mother. Bourbon and Barley and Emerald Miss. And everybody talks about Rose Run Speedster and the great year he had it too, and he put us on the map. You're kind of right. He didn't just put us on the map. Bourbon and Barley was a very impressive filly. It's a filly that we got for nothing. I actually met the client and ended up being friends with him. I met him on Facebook, and he sent the filly up here. We bought her for nothing, like next to nothing, and we ended up selling her for $110,000 US right after her first start in Northfield. She was second out of the 8-hole on a half-mile track in 155. She's made close to $300,000, I think, in her career, and taken a mark of 152 for the new owners. And this is her only sister, and she goes just like her. Canters, you put her in gear, she can really pace, but she'll go out and she'll lose her gait and canter around. And I remember somebody sent me a message from way back when, oh, Bourbon's finally getting it right. She's finally doing it right. That was in February of her 2-year-old year. This is her sister, and I watched her out here 3 weeks ago now, and she just cantered, paced a little, cantered. So I went out and I hit her a swat in the arse, and I made her do her work. Man, she looked like a different horse last week. Really, really impressed, and looked a lot like her sister did at this time. So that's a good thing, because her sister was an incredibly talented filly. We've had a lot of luck with the We Will Sees. This is a We Will See sister to Bourbon and Barley. Very happy with her. Enduring Strength, typical Angus Hall, really aggressive, but not crazy aggressive. Just loves to do his work and be a little bully. Will likely end up a gelding, I would suspect, to be on the safe side with this breed. But not yet. Not yet. Enduring Strength just does everything right. Just a nice colt to be around, does everything right. Danny hates Angus Halls for the most part, but has fallen in love with this colt and goes with him every day almost, and really, really likes him. So Enduring Strength is growing on surly old Danny O'Brien, who vowed to never have anything to do with Angus Hall again, and he loves this one. And he has another one also for us I'll be talking about in just a minute. That's Enduring Strength. Enjoying My Life. We bought this horse, and the people that bought a piece of her ended up buying out everybody. Numbered company out of Ottawa. Very, very nice people. They live in England for half the year, and they bought in Enjoying My Life. Same people that bought Dancer Hall when we had them 2 years ago. Nice people, nice filly. The breeders obviously are clients of ours in Jeff Ruck and Steve Palermo, a friend of mine. They bred this filly. We bought her, trained her. She clearly, it looks like what you want a horse to look like. If you said, geez, it would be nice if she looked like X, right now, that's what she looks. She might look like X plus. She looks fantastic. So enjoying my life. Really happy with what we got, what we have in her. David Shea has been out of the game for a while. David Shea's a very prolific owner. Owned a lot of horses in this game. He called me and said he was going to go to Harrisburg and he was going to buy a horse. He didn't go to Harrisburg, but he bought a horse. And he bought Film Critic, but his stable is Giddy Up Stables. So he's changing the horse's name to Giddy Up Max. They were out to watch Giddy Up Max be broke. He's a noisy bugger. He might be a gelding too at some point. He's noisy, but he's got a beautiful gait. Very, very well-bred. Very well-bred colt by Bettor's Delight. So we got a lot of well-bred Ontario breds here, and this guy is definitely one of them. Giddy Up Max does everything great, has looked great since day one, and I suspect he'll look really shiny for next week under the drone. Forged in Fire. Now here's a funny story. We sold almost all. I think if we brought home 15 horses from Harrisburg. The politician in me would say, "Oh, we only have 350 shares left." Well, 4 of those horses, 2 of them were sent here privately, 2 of them were bought outright by clients, so 4 don't really count. Out of the 11 that we purchased, TheStable.ca got, we have almost less than 300, almost less than 300 shares left total. And most of them are in this guy. And that's a little surprising. This was one of my top picks. Definitely top 5. Maybe not top 3, maybe 4th. But top 5 for sure. This is a Yankee Glide brother to Emmy Lou Who. Emmy Lou Who, as most of you might know, is the mother of Emoticon Hanover, 1.6 million, mark of 150 on the trotter, 151. Just a tremendous athlete in her own right. Her mother is a sister to Forged in Fire. And it's not just, oh, well, that's it. The whole family, all 3 lines, just tremendous looking horses. The only dig on this horse that people said, oh, he's a 14th foal. Courtly Choice won the Little Brown Jug. He's a 15th foal. The horse that was 2nd or 3rd in there was a 13th foal. So it can be done. And we're not buying pedigree pages. I don't get to race a pedigree page. I get to race a horse. And the individual in front of me, Forged in Fire, is a tremendous looking horse. Yankee Glide, people say always washed up. Stonebridge Simba, very nice horse for us last year. I don't buy this washed up and too many foals. Just show me athletic horses. This is a well-bred, athletic-looking, sharp-looking colt with no apparent issues. I had him out the track. He looks great. You're going to see him. I was really interested in going with him today. You're going to see him next week. Forged in Fire, well-bred, good-looking son of Yankee Glide. Shockingly enough, lots of shares left in this guy. I just don't know how. Next is Fox Valley Shazam, filly we bought back in Illinois. And I told everybody we bought this filly, when all the sale season's done and played out, you're going to look back and say, how in the hell did you buy this filly for $22,000? That's exactly what people are asking us now. She was sold out immediately. She looks great. She's well-bred. And Mario Bergeron loves her to death. He won't even let me go with her. No, I'll go with her. No, I went with her. I've only went with her a couple of times at the start, and that was before we hired Mario. He goes with her every day. He's fallen in love with this filly. He loves her to death. Obviously, she's an Ontario bred. Fox Valley Shazam is a muscle mass filly that we got in Illinois early in the year. Next, we have French Twist. This is the other Angus Hall. You guys may not know about French Twist, so from time to time we'll have clients call up and say, hey, I got this horse. I want to send him. Can you sell shares in him? I ended up getting half of French Twist. And we haven't offered any shares of French Twist up for sale yet. We probably will in the coming months, but I want to see what he looks like and get him priced for this gentleman properly, which I think is only fair for everybody. You'll see him next week. I haven't ever sat behind French Twist. Danny O'Brien goes to him and loves him to death. Another guy, Danny told me a month ago he despises Angus Hall and he will never buy another one. Yet the only 2 Angus Halls we have, Danny goes to them. And this guy here, he goes to them every day. He goes, I need to know. I don't think he's an Angus Hall. That's what he told me today. I don't think he's an Angus Hall. He is. He's an Angus Hall. And I'd love to tell you what he does and what he doesn't do on the track. Literally, I'll be 100% clear with you. I've never seen him on the track. Danny goes to them and says he loves them. He goes to them every day. He said, this is one beautiful, beautiful colt. So we'll both get a very good look at him. I'll see him sometime this week. But we'll both get a very good look at French Twist next week under the drone. Frontier Cruise. I've gone with him. This is the biggest Sunshine Beach, maybe the biggest horse we have. This horse is as big as a bus. And you might say, oh, he's too big. He gets over the ground. He gets over this half-mile track. He's already gated. He picks up speed in the turns. He's a little horse trapped in a big horse's body is what he is. And He does everything really nice. He's got a great attitude. I'm really concerned because last year we had Sunshine's Finest, who was a miserable little bugger. We gelded him at Christmas, and that day we gelded him really paved the path for the rest of his, well, at least for the rest of his 2-year-old season. I don't think Sunshine's Finest would have been Sunshine's Finest had we left him intact, had we left him a stud. And I know that's up for debate. There's no way to prove that or not. But from me to you, you trust my opinion, that the first day we gelded Sunshine's Finest was the first day of his actual racing career, because he was a different horse after that. This guy's got a good attitude. We're going to keep a close eye on all the Sunshine Beaches especially, but this guy here has got a great attitude. No reason to start sharpening the scalpel just yet. I really like Frontier Cruise. Next we have Fusspot. Here's a filly, another. She's a little small, but she is a bullet. When you watch her on the track, she's a firecracker. She can really pace. She's fast. We got a hood on her right now. I want to get her under control. We're going to keep her in that group setting. Keep her bottled up. Keep her bottled up. Keep her bottled up. I don't want her getting hyper. I want her to learn the fundamentals of racing, because clearly speed is no issue for her. We've seen these types of horses before. Some have done very, very good for us. Some haven't. And we want to make sure we get this filly under control, because she looks, 1, her breeding's great, 2, I love these Art Speaks, and 3, she looks like she has all the tools to be a good horse. I mean, when we look back at a horse like her, Autumn Wings was like that. You guys haven't seen her resurface, but Autumn Wings got a little sore at that, and right when we qualified her, she got running in, laying in, got a little sore. Not to say she won't be a good horse. She didn't make it at 2 yet. She's got to be a horse of some sort. Maybe a very good horse, but that'll be up to her. And this filly reminds me of her. The only difference is she isn't running in. She doesn't appear to have any issues, so hopefully she can carry that all throughout the winter. Next is a filly that I am very, very happy with, Globetrotting. You're going to see different levels of happiness from me today, I think. And some I'm really excited about. Some are just pretty good. Globetrotting is a filly I think looks awesome on the track. She carries herself like a good horse. She just looks, I don't even know the best, majestic, I guess. She just looks, the way she carries herself, she just looks classy. That's the word. She looks classy. She's on the track. She floats over the ground. She does it right, and she's sharp. So few horses catch my eye the way. There may be 5 or 10 out of the 75. This is one of them. Globetrotting, one of the ones that I want to continue to go with, because I really like this filly, and I think she has great potential. Harness AM is another one of those fillies. Danny loves this filly. I don't get to go with her very much. Between Danny and Mario, I never get to go with her. Now Danny actually took her. We had all the babies in the top round, then had the other babies from Harrisburg in another shed row. Danny swapped out a horse and stole her back. She's down with Danny in the bottom barn, and he really, really has nothing but great things to say about Harness AM. I know the people at the farm at Hunterton where we bought her love this filly also. Her breeding speaks for herself. Harness AM is a horse, obviously, everybody should keep their eye on. Havana Unana. There's a filly that came to us privately, much like French Twist. The gentleman that bred her believes in her, wanted to keep her, set a price on her at the sale. She didn't bring that price. He brought her here. I own half of her, and I may put some of my shares up for sale, but I want to see what she's actually worth over the next few weeks. We're going to try and price her accordingly. Obviously, the price the breeder wants is quite a bit higher than what the sale price was. And people call me all the time. I want to make this very clear. Somebody says, well, they bought her back for X. Why? How can? And a perfect example is Time All Dazzle. The sale price on Time All Dazzle was $25,000 US. The price to buy her here is 60 Canadian. And people are like, well, it's just not right. Okay, why? This is an open market. If somebody buys a horse back and sends this to us and says, hey, I want $900,000 for it. Okay. If no shares are sold, that's because she's not worth $900,000. If you think she's worth the $900,000, you can buy shares in her. And that's only fair for everybody. If you want to buy a share of Time All Dazzle, it'll cost $600 plus HST. That is what the breeder has believed that she's worth. I'm not going to argue. I'm going to let the filly talk for herself. She is a good-looking filly, and also Havana Unana is a very good-looking filly. She's a Guccio, so right away people are like, I don't like Guccio. Again, I don't care at this point. To me, I just want to see what the horses look on the track. How do you look on the track? We've already bought you. At this point, I don't care what the sire is. I don't care what the dam is. I care about how they look on the track. And this filly looks like a big, strong, powerful filly. That's really what's most important to me. So Havana Unana could be any kind of horse. We're going to find out in the next few weeks and price her accordingly, I suppose. Next is Heavenly Skies. That's a filly with Blair Burgess. Blair's just down the road. We didn't have her on the sets today. That's my fault. I knew I did something wrong. So we're going to contact Blair and make sure that filly, and that was the deal with Blair. We'll send her down. You know, obviously they're always welcome. People are always welcome on Blair's farm. Blair's a nice guy. Him and his wife, Corinne, are great people, and do a great job. I mean, Blair Burgess, again, here's a guy that's won every race. He's in the Hall of Fame both in Canada and the U.S., Horse Racing Hall of Fame. You know, I don't have to speak any more about him. He has this filly, Heavenly Skies. Some of our clients retained shares in this filly. She went to Blair's. She does have to come over and drone sometimes. Hopefully next Saturday we can get her here. It's a good-looking filly. A good-looking filly by Archangel that we bought in Lexington. And Blair, by all accounts, said she's going good. He's happy with her. So we'll see what she does next week when she's here. I'll play it alone. Here's a Colt I never, ever usually buy horses for sentimental reasons. Well, this horse here, he was a little bit smaller, but blockier. And when I decided to buy him, it was solely because of his mother. You know, the Colt looked good. There was nothing wrong with him. Proportionally speaking, he was a good-looking horse. But I bought this horse because I made a lot of money with his mom. His mother and I won a lot of races. Bill Robinson trained his mother, It's No Secret, and I won 3 or 4 golds with her. Just an incredible filly, did a lot of good for me, and I really liked her. And she's smaller than this Colt is right now. And when we bought this Colt, well-bred, good-mannered, Danny goes to break him. I didn't break this Colt, Danny did. He went up the track, he comes in, he says, "What is this?" I said, "How was he?" "How was he?" He said, "All he do is pace." He said, "Is this a Sun Beach somewhere?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "How much did you pay for this guy?" $14,000. He couldn't believe it. So I'll play it alone. He's selling out every day. I see 1, 2, 5, 6, 8 shares being sold. He'll be sold out soon enough. This is a really good-looking Colt out of a mare that I really had a lot of respect for because she was small, but she was gritty and tough, and she was a good race mare. She made $370,000 maybe and took America 153. Just a really, really nice mare. Next is Inland Beach. Inland Beach is a horse that arrived from PEI. This filly came from the Maritimes, and there's not a lot of money in the family. And people are like, "Oh, there's just not a lot there." I hear everybody from the Maritimes, they'll say that beach filly that you got from PEI, he said, that mare, first foal out of that mare, an incredible mare. I guess at 3, she when it took America 156 in the Maritimes, which is, as you can imagine, a good mile. And then raced against the open mares at some point, got in an accident. They tried to bring her back. She wasn't sound, and they bred her. Bred her to Sunshine Beach. And what a good-looking filly this is, Inland Beach. Again, another horse. Just take a look at her on the track. I don't have to do much selling for the horses this time of year. They're going to sell themselves. And this is a filly I suspect will sell very quickly and sell lots for herself. Inland Beach, the Sunshine Beach filly. Just a good-looking filly. Wears no boots, and by the looks of things, I don't think she ever will. Jailhouse Master, the Jailhouse Jesse Colt from Indiana, made some shoeing and changes and adjustments. He was touching himself when he was jogging and when we first started going with him the right way of the track. Looked great the other day going. I suspect you'll see improvements every week with this Colt. Very well bred, a horse we bought from Ohio, who's an Indiana bred Colt. Good looking Colt. Not much more to say. I mean, he does everything right. Can't really complain. Again, have a look at him on the track. Jailhouse Master is his name. Here's Joanne, as Freddie called him. Joanne. Johann. Johann Frederick. But we're going to call him Joanne forever now. And Johann hit the trot the first day. It was awesome. Somebody came and they said, I don't want any Sebastian K's. He's, first time sire. He's going to have to prove to me. Meanwhile, we have knockdown drag out. So I can tell you, I already like him as a sire. We have 4 Sebastian K's. So I said to the guy, he's up here watching the horse jog, a friend of mine, and he says, "Nah, Sebastian K's not for me." I brought Joanne up, went 3 laps, brought him in. He comes down, he says, "What was that you just jogged?" I said, "That? It's one of those Sebastian K's you didn't want." All right, I changed my mind. I'm going to buy that horse. He bought the whole horse, except for there was 4 shares sold of him, but he bought the whole horse. And it was great. But Johann, keep an eye on Johann. I saw Danny up here jogging him in an open bridle. For those of you that are horsemen out there, the second day in harness, open bridle, first day with shoes on, second day with harness on, open bridle, jogging with aged horses. maybe one of the greatest things I've seen. Very, very smart colt and a beautiful gait. That is Joanne. Just for me and you, this is another Donato Hanover filly. You guys probably heard. I said it over and over and over again. This is the filly that Felix, our blacksmith, he has the brother, loves the brother. This is the sister, and she trots for everybody. I've seen 3 different drivers go with this filly the right way of the track in set situations. Never breaks, and always has a beautiful gait. So just for me and you, or as Freddie will likely call this filly, just for men, you. Just for me and you, will be a fan favorite, I think, on drone day. Picks up speed quick. Got a great gait. See what my car just did? Turned off. It said you must have fell asleep or something. Turned off. Just for me and you. Knockdown Dragout. I just mentioned Knockdown Dragout. Somebody called me last night and said, when are you doing the top 10 videos? I do them in like March. Pretty hard for me to do a top 10 video right now. All these horses are very raw pieces of clay to mold, and the top 10 list would be highly unfair at this point. But if we were forced to do one, you can be sure this filly would be near the top. She looks like just one giant muscle with legs sticking out of it. She trots beautifully. She got a great attitude, and she is fast. Knockdown Dragout is a filly. I saw her a couple weeks ago. I said, wow. Wow. She does everything really nice. So Knockdown Dragout's a Sebastian Rea that we bought as a weanling. And her price went up. Obviously, I put it up. Some guy called me. He says, another client of ours, good guy, called me. He says, hey, why'd you raise the share price of Knockdown Dragout? I said, because I haven't raised it in like 4 months. I bought her. I carried 53% of her for a year. And now that she looks like a nice horse, all of a sudden people want to line up to buy her below cost. I appreciate that. That's very great of you. Very gracious of you. I said, no. I said, she's priced accordingly right now for what I have into her and how good she looks, and I think that's fair. And if it's not, then just don't buy the shares of her. And I don't think that's gouging. I think that's fair business. For 7 months, 6 months, I don't think I changed the price on Knockdown Dragout. Then as she started getting broke, I'm like, geez, I got to have X into her. There's no possible way I don't. And we raised the price a little bit. And then the other day we raised it even more because she just looks good. So, and that's only fair. If you owned her, put yourself in my shoes. What would you do? So, Knockdown Dragout, I have 30-some shares of her left. But buy them or don't buy them is fine with me. She already paid for now. She's a good-looking filly, and I really like what I see from another Sebastian K. Do you like the Sebastian Ks? Yes, I do. So, Knockdown Dragout. Libero Hanover. What you're going to see is a great gaited trotter. Cantab Hall Colt. He kicked the living piss out of my jog cart the first day. Almost got loose, almost broke the cart. Second day was better. Third day is better. He's got this streak in him. He is very fast, and he's got a very strong, powerful gait. But he's still got that little, I can go off at any time attitude. He'll probably end up being a gelding. But not because his attitude's horrible, just because I need him focused on his work. When he focuses, I put him in behind a horse the other day, and we picked up speed. This is a colt that's been going for 6 weeks in front of him. Libero Hanover's had the harness on 3 days. This colt couldn't get away from him. After a lap of this, I just pulled him up. He's an incredibly fast colt. A lot of talent, a lot of money in that family. Really, really happy with what I've seen from Libero Hanover. And not happy with the kicking, but happy with the spunky shows. But his gait, beautiful gait. You're going to see that next week. Libero I don't know if there's shares. I can't tell. This is a picture. I don't know if there's shares left to Libero Hanover or not. There might be a couple. But he is a really, really good-looking colt. This is a colt that had made my top 10 or 12 list in Harrisburg and then went for $11,000. So if you want to talk about a horse falling through the cracks, that would be the one, I would suspect. One of the number one ones. No, not the number one. He's later. But one of them. Libero Hanover. McPherson Thunder is kind of the opposite of how his brother was right now. His brother was Mo Better. As many of you recall, we traded Mo Better straight up for McPherson Thunder. The people that bred Mo Better loved him, wanted him back, wanted to race on the B tracks with him. Beautiful colt, small. He's going to race in the grassroots and the B tracks next year. Probably do them some good. They wanted to trade straight up for this giant brother of his by Sunshine Beach. We like Sunshine Beaches, although they may not have been received fantastically. We like them. I like them, and this is a good-looking colt, and man, oh man, does he look good. He's a colt that could be gelded, but I'm just going to hold off. He hasn't got a dirty streak in him, but he's one big, powerful colt. Somebody went by him training 2 weeks as we were starting the drone. Do you remember that horse? No, Danny. He just took off on Danny, wide open on the pace with his head down, and he is one good-looking colt. McPherson Thunder is a horse I really, really like. A horse, if you were going to... Another one, I'm not going to rate the horses 1 through 10, but if you're looking at our Ontario groupings, this guy's one to keep an eye on. McPherson Thunder. Next is Little Nugget. Little McNugget. McNugget now, Mario came to me the other day. There's a filly, an Ohio filly that Mario still is. He says, she's a little off right hind. Maybe take her over and make sure she doesn't have an OCD. We took her over, perfectly clean, fluoroscope great. Had a splint on her right hind. We crowd it. No big deal. It's all cleaned up, especially for next week. Now, today would have been 4 days. Who knows what it looked like. But by next week, she should look close to 100%. There's Too Far Gone right there. She looks good, too. Now we have Marzank Hanover. Marzank Hanover, another well-bred horse. This is if I'm not mistaken, this is a filly out of a sister to Mock It So. So Marzank Hanover is a well-bred filly. She's about a medium-sized filly, and she's a handful. I put the hobbles on her. She near got loose on me the other day with the hobbles on, but stopped, behaved, so she listens well. This is a horse that Daryl Newbigging purchased out of Harrisburg. She's on the site, but she's not on the site. She's not for sale. Any shares of her, but I'm really curious to see what she's going to look like over the next 6 days. That was her first day with the hobbles. We'll see how she looks the next time. But well-bred, good-looking filly, and a filly I'm interested to see how her attitude is throughout the summer. She's another one's got that, got that step forward attitude to her. So Marzank Hanover, we got to change the name. Marzank Hanover, it's a terrible name. Marzank Hanover, good looking filly though. A Mach 3 filly that we bought out of Harrisburg. McNugget, very well bred filly. McCardle filly, obviously after the success we had with Twinsburg last year, we went fishing again for another McCardle filly. The year before we had a McCardle Colt. We weren't fishing for any McCardle Colts. I can tell you that. We had a McCardle filly. I shouldn't say that. McWicket's by McCardle, so I guess it's a little ridiculous to say that. Just going from past experience, personal experience, we weren't fishing for any McCardle Colts. We bought a McCardle filly in Twinsburg. She did very, very good for us last year. We bought another one in McNugget. Next is Miss Brampton Beast. I don't have to tell you about Miss Brampton Beast. She's going to do all her talking on the track. This is probably one of the most professional, quick, strong fillies in our barn in any jurisdiction right now. Again, take it with a grain of salt. It's November 16th today? 17th today. November 17th today. So take it with a grain of salt. This is one of our best look. I don't know why I keep saying I'm not going to make a top 10 list. I keep saying. Anyway, Miss Brampton Beast. If you're looking for an Ontario bred, if you're looking for a filly, you're looking for Miss Brampton Beast. I think that's the easiest way for me to put it. I don't think there's any way to beat around the bush. This is a good-looking filly. Actually, we're doing that video this week for the Brampton Beast, aren't we, about Miss Brampton Beast? I think Justin wanted to do a video explaining it so he could put it on the profile. So this is the filly that, the reason her name is Miss Brampton Beast, the breeder of the horse worked out an agreement with the Brampton Beast. It's going to be a cross-promotional thing, something I dropped the ball on. We had a video ready to go a month ago, and with sales going on, I just didn't have time. So leading up to Christmas, we're going to be giving this video to the Brampton Beast, and they're going to share it on their wall or whatever. And anyway, they're sharing the right one because this is a good-looking filly. Miss Brampton Beast. Miss Mischief Maker's a filly I love. Now, I wanted to go with her today. I think I booked off her today, but Danny went with her last week, and he loved her just as much. Beautiful gait, well-bred filly. I believe first foal out of a sister to What the Hill. No surprise that she's doing well, and she is doing well. I love this filly. I love the next bunch. Muscle Chrome. Growing every day, it seems. I went with the other day. She's a little small, but she's about the same size, maybe a little more dainty than Nancy Allison, but the same type of size, I think, maybe a little smaller. But she's definitely growing, and they said where they always, gee, she's kind of lazy. Some of the muscle masses are. I went with the other day. She looked great. So, Muscle Chrome, for those of you out there saying, we bought her back, and then we had to pay sale fees and this fee to get her back. I know. But fair is fair. We put a hardline price on our horses we're selling and buying, and we're not moving. Muscle Chrome, we bought her back for $21,000, and I'm not regretting it. Maybe you are, but I certainly am not. Muscle Chrome is the Muscle Mass filly we bought as a weanling. We had her in the sale. She didn't bring what we wanted. We brought her home. She's our girl. She's training down, and she looks good so far. Nancy Allison is next up. That's a Donato filly, the sister to Charmed Life. There's everything to like about this filly, including the price we got her for. If you looked at my pre-sale videos and even my post-sale video, I was flabbergasted we got her, shocked that we got her, and we really shouldn't have been able to. There's a horse that I'm still trying to reconcile how that took place. How does Nancy Allison, a sister to Charmed Life, go for $22,000? You might say, well, Charmed Life. There's some other good horses in that family. All three dams. Here's the problem. The unraced sister to Nancy Allison and Charmed Life sold in full to Walner for $100,000 2 days after Nancy Allison sold. Unraced. She's like 3 or 4. Then the other sister to them sold for $67,000, a 2-year-old. So, and then they sold Charmed Life. She sold for $160,000 at the Harrisburg sale. So there's lots of money in this family. I still can't reconcile what went on with Nancy Allison, how she only went for 22, because I see her on the track. There's nothing wrong with Nancy Allison. Olympic Hopeful, there's a filly we had OCDs out of her hock. This is the only yearling trotting filly going to Illinois next year. We had, obviously, we had Ivanka and Not an Angel go there last year, and Holding Steady on the pace. This is the only Illinois-bred trotting filly we have, Olympic Hopeful. Well-bred. Do you remember the horse we had, Guilty with an Excuse? Did really well with him. Anyway, we had him 2 years ago, Amy and I. He did nothing but good for us. Philip Trudeau, a million people have had him. Richard Moreau had him forever. He's made like $700,000, took a mark of 152 on the trot. This is the brother, the half-brother, to Olympic Hopeful. And she's just a tremendous-looking filly also. Next is Overdue Mission, another Man of Many Mission filly. This filly looks great. I went right on the track. I was a late scratching her. There was somebody in the set I had to go with today. I love going with this filly, and I wanted to go there. I didn't get a chance to, but maybe I will next week. Who knows? Things might change this week. Overdue Mission, filly with a big, big gait, beautiful gait, and good for Regula, too, the lady that bred her. She bred that little Buckeye Babe and a couple other ones. She bred Overdue Mission. She's just an incredible-looking filly. Path of Totality. Now, when you talk about Miss Mischief Maker and how much I love her, she was a Donato filly out of a sister to What the Hill. Now, her twin was in Harrisburg, and that was Path of Totality. Path of Totality was a Donato Hanover. Stood out a little bit. Not a big deal. Lots of the Donatos do. This was a sister to Barndall. Barndall made $900,000, took a mark of 153, trotted in 151. This is the half-sister. So almost a twin, only we got her for half of what we paid for Miss Mischief Maker. We bought her for $10,000. She does everything right and looks great on the track. Also, Pine Creek, this is the Uncle Peter filly. We brought her up the other day. She trots nice. Steering fluid's a little low. When you turn her, you have to get off and turn her. You turn her, you have to get off and turn her. And if you try and tap her on the tail and make her go forward, she'll back up. So just not being rude or ignorant, just doesn't know. Just doesn't know and gets a little self-conscious and just kind of has a little spaz out. But you can tell that will dissipate with time. She's a beautiful filly. She is huge. This is the filly I needed, I wanted. And then by the time I woke up the next day after Harrisburg, she was all sold out. I didn't even get a piece of her. The filly that I said I wanted desperately, that I loved, and I didn't even get a piece of her. So Pine Creek completely sold out and then some. And just a beautiful filly on the track. That stopping, that'll dissipate. She's got a great attitude and a great gait. That is Pine Creek. Really Blue Chip is the horse we bought out of Blue Chip Farms consignment at Goshen. This is a trotting filly that Scott DiDomenico had bought into. We're lucky to have him and lucky to have him on board. This is the credit winner filly that looks great. Saw her on the track the other day. She looked incredible on the track. Everything I want to see from her. I don't often get to go with her, but I've seen her on the track. Hard to miss her. She got a beautiful gait and a big white blaze on her face. She's a dandy. She looks great. So that's Really Blue Chip. Rocking Out Loud. This is the first crop Thinking Out Loud. This is the filly. You weren't at the London sale with us, were you? Yep. Yeah, you were. So this is the filly I went to see in the back ring. We just priced her kind of. We were looking at a different horse, and that filly was about to win the ring next, and we looked at her conformation, looked at her breeding. I said she'd go for around 58. And Steve Palermo, a buddy of mine, said he thought she'd bring 65 or 70. Well, she stalled at 22. And we bought her for 24. This is a very, very well-bred filly by Thinking Out Loud. And very, very lucky to have her. The first day she cantered, she was a little stupid and ignorant with the hobbles on, but I saw her yesterday going. She looked great. Mario's got her going great. Another horse looks great is the giant Trixton we bought, Rooney Blue Chip. This is a big boy, a big boy. And he looks great on the track, does everything right. My obviously concerns is he too big? Is he going to have problems with his knees, his hocks, his stifles being open? I don't know. Some horses do, some horses don't. But buying a good horse is still buying a good horse. A $27,000 Trixton Colt out of a sister to the mother of Crazed. The second dam is the dam of Crazed. That's how prolific this family is. And Rooney Blue Chip, for me, $27,000. Pretty much a slam dunk right there. And hopefully he is. Another horse I got for a lot less than I thought we would. Well, a lot of them we did, but some of the standouts, and this is definitely a standout, Rosa and Valiant. This was a horse I had to push hard for 2 weeks to get people lined up to buy into him, just because when I went to New Zealand, I really dropped the ball on selling the Ohio horses. So if you go on our site, you're like, how come there's so many Ohio horses left? It's my fault. I went to New Zealand and people just forgot about them and said, there's more sales coming, and they didn't pay attention to the horses we had. This colt here was one of our best looking horses and one of our best looking horses in the entire property. Rosa and Valiant's a full brother to Catch the Dream, Bruce McDonald's horse, and a full brother to Sultan the Cash, who was a 2-year-old Trout of the Year 2 years ago in Ohio. This is the full brother. And Rosa and Valiant, for me, I think he went for $47,000, $45,000. I had him pegged around 60, 65, and we got him for 45, I believe. Rosa and Valiant, for those of you out there that got into him, I like him more every time I see him on the track. So next is Sebastian Rea. This is a horse, again, bought by the people that own Dancer Hall. Brought him here. Had to add a bit of weight to him and the next guy we're going to talk about also. Both of them trot the same. We have 4 Sebastian Ks, 2 trot one way, 2 trot another way. This is Sebastian Rea. We got him gated up now. He was a little sick this week. I'm actually glad, a little bit glad the drone's next week, because this guy, he was going to possibly be a game time scratch. His temperature's down today, but he was sick this week, so it'll give us another week to get Sebastian Rea ready for viewing. Not that anybody can buy any shares of him, but still, our job's to train him down no matter how many shares are sold. It's a very well-bred son of Sebastian K. Sebastian U was actually the cheapest Sebastian K we bought all year, except he was number 3 on my list in Harrisburg. Out of the entire... How many videos did we do? 65?
67.
67 videos. This was number 3 of all the horses that I looked at. Number 3 on my catalog was Sebastian U. This guy went for $12,000. And he looks like Sebastian Rea. Got that little clappy gait, but the problem is they need to stretch out and learn to stretch out. And this guy's learning to do that now. Looks great on the track. Need a little bit more weight like the other guy, but looks great on the track. Was I talking about Sebastian U or Sebastian K? Sebastian U. Said he was the cheapest one. Mm-hmm. So $12,000 for him, and he looks great. There's another horse with a lot of shares left. I don't understand how. I guess people forgot that he was my 3rd pick of the entire sale. But what are you going to do? He's going to speak for himself on the track next week also. Only a couple more left, right? I know you're concerned.
Battery's getting low.
Okay, we better get this done. Sometimes things happen. Cash Hall Colt. This is a guy called an Uncle Peter like 3 times. He's a Cash Hall Colt and looks great on the track. This is a guy with those long pasterns, almost like a credit winner pastern on him, but well-bred, looks great. Absolutely no issues with this guy on the track. Everybody likes going with him also. Another Ohio horse with quite a few shares left. Shouldn't be any left in this guy for the price we paid for him. But, again, these horses will do their talking on the track. The next one also. Spend that money. Everybody talks to me, hey, who's that Spend That Money horse? That horse looked good. Everybody on site last week asked me who Spend That Money was. This is the Uncle Peter horse we bought. The filly we bought. The trot and filly we bought by Uncle Peter. Looks great. Does all her work good. And I know the guys that go with her, it's almost like a little skirmish to see who's going to get to go with her every day. There's like 3 guys that really, really like her. I rarely get to go with her. I think I've gone with her twice in the entire time she's been here. Spend That Money is another Ohio bred that we got. Spirit of Dio, there's a Trixton filly. And Danny loves her. She went last week and made a couple of breaks. And Danny said, no, I go with her from now on. He likes this filly. He told me when he had her before down the bottom barn and broke her, he thought she was one of the best ones of the grouping. Last week she made a few little mistakes, and he's going to start going with her more. He loves her to death. So that was Spirit of Dio. This is a Trixton filly. We didn't pay much for this one either. I think $10,000 or $12,000 for this filly. We bought her at Lexington. That's Spirit of Dio. Sunshine and Shade. This is another one Mario really likes. This is a Sunshine Beach Colt. This also is out of the same family of Leather Up. I'd mentioned Frontier Cruise is out of his sister. So is this guy, I believe. Sunshine and Shade. He's got an extremely strong family, top to bottom. Really good page. Looks great on the track. This is a colt that caught my eye last week, not because of all the chrome he's got on his nose and his legs, just because he's a good-looking colt with a good-looking gait. Mario likes him. Again, we're going to let him do his talking on the track. Sunshine and Shade. Susie K. Everybody says, what the hell is a Climb Higher? She's by Climb Higher. Climb Higher is a horse that I drove. Climb Higher is a horse I drove for Blair Burgess, actually, who was a Muscle Hill colt they thought highly of. They sold him. He ended up getting injured, and lo and behold, the Amish ended up with him in Ohio. And what do the Amish do? They breed their mares to their studs. So Climb Higher. This horse is out, if I'm not mistaken. The mother of this horse is a first foal. This is the first foal out of a mare that made 200 and some thousand. Took a mark of 155, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but I believe so. I know the mare did very well at the races, and this is her first foal. And it's a Climb Higher, and it is a filly, Susie K. I like going with Susie K. She comes close to her outside knee again, like one other horse, Compass Rose DC. But again, gets up a little higher. As they speed up, they widen out. So no concerns there. And she's all business when she's on the track. Talking Peter, another horse, got a great-looking gait. Kind of fell by the wayside. Everybody's like, well, who's Talking Peter? Well, we bought so many Uncle Peters, we bought so many Ohio breds, and I wasn't here to talk about them for the 2 weeks after the sale. People kind of forgot about them. Talking Peter's no joke. This colt can flat out fly. Little goofy around the gates, looks at the gates and stuff, but can really, really trot when he's got his mind on it. So Talking Peter's a horse I like, and he's an Uncle Peter. This is a gelding already, by Uncle Peter, another Ohio bred prospect for us next year. Two of a Kind Hanover, our third installment of the Art Speaks. This is a filly, I believe. Actually, we bought her at Goshen. She's not the third installment. She would have been the second or the first. Beautiful filly. Does everything nice. Again, the Art Speaks, I really like them. Those of you out there saying, who am I going to breed to in Pennsylvania because it's $12 trillion for Captain Treacherous. Sweet Lou's half that, I think. I think 25,000 and 12,000. Art Speaks a good-looking colt, a good-looking sire. The horses, by that, I mean the horses sires are good-looking horses. We bid on a couple of colts. I wanted to buy another filly in Harrisburg. It's hard because the selling them out is a little more like, look at Fusspot. There isn't a horse looks as sharp as squirrely on the track as Fusspot. There's still a lot of shares left in Fusspot, and the reason is people look and say Captain Treacherous is there, Sweet Lou is there. Can Art Speak really go with them? I'm looking for good-looking horses, and I think we got 3 of them in the Art Speak fillies. I love Art Speak as a sire. I hope he has a good year because his horses are absolutely professional on the track and very, very great attitudes. So, again, for me, banana sandwich. For me, Art Speak is definitely what I would consider a very, very good addition to anybody's stable. The 3 fillies we got, I love all 3 of them. Two of a Kind Hanover, absolutely one of those. Time All Dazzle, Cadaver Colt, Cadaver filly. This is the one we talked about. A buyback. The breeder sent her to us, put a price on him that he felt was fair. She is going to have to do the talking on the track. I don't think she's going to have any problem. She's a big, good-looking filly, well put together, does everything right in the track. She actually kicked the other day going up on the track, kicked Mario right out of the jog card. He was fine, and she was fine, but she's got that don't bother me attitude to her. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with having a little filly with a little fight. Time All Dazzle is a horse that I like also. Time All Kazam, another Cadaver colt. This is the full brother to Time All Houdini. Big, giant, good-looking colt. Mario has him snuggled away in his side of the barn, and he's pretty protective of this guy also. Time All Kazam is a bigger version of Time All Houdini. Will that play a problem? I don't know. I don't think so, but we'll see soon enough in Time All Kazam. Yours if you want it. This is an Uncle Peter colt I thought we got for a lot. This is the colt that I told you should buy into. Mm-hmm. And what happened was Wendy dumped all the shares on the open market, and I didn't even get a share. You didn't get a share of him. I didn't get a share of him. He's a Ridgeling. Well, we fixed that. He's now a gelding. We had him operated on, cleaned it all up. And this colt trots great. Exactly how I knew he would. Obviously, we got so many horses, I can't complain, but I would have liked to have some shares of yours if you want it, and I didn't get any. Wiggle Delight's another horse nobody owns any shares of. This is Paul Gange's horse. Damn it, I forgot these 2 horses at G and M. Can you insert those? So, Wiggle Delight is a horse, Paul Gange, and Paul Gange's the guy that he was the one, the big owner that bought with his 3 partners Swandre the Giant last year. And Paul called me and said, listen, obviously, do you want to buy a horse this year? I said, absolutely. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. We picked out a number of horses. I think we were the underbidder on like 8 horses for Paul, and we ended up buying this filly way under what he was going to buy her for, and way under what I thought she was worth. I bid on a Better's Delight filly similar to this one with similar breeding. This is a sister to Mr. Wiggles, who's the father of Wiglet Jiglet. We bid on a filly. We weren't the underbidders, actually. I'm wrong. She went for $110,000. I think we were out at 88 or 90. She went for $110,000, and this filly we ended up buying her for $55. So we were very, very lucky to have her, I believe, and Mario loves her to death too. A well-bred filly by Better's Delight in Wiggle Delight. 2 more left. One is my boy, Willpower Fashion. I couldn't say this was my top pick in Harrisburg because he's a possess the will, and he's being consigned by a farm that races horses. So analytically, he couldn't be my top pick. The sire is not proven. He doesn't do well. He's proven to be mediocre so far. He hasn't been a great sire. And again, coming from a farm that races horses, a lot of question marks there. But as far as the build, the look, the eye on him, just his demeanor, he was my favorite horse. One of my favorite horses in the sale. We ended up getting him for $9,000, and I was so happy to get him. I just liked the horse. Personally, I liked the horse. In the 3 days I got to see him at the sale, I had him out of the stall, showed him to clients maybe 6 times, and I was so happy to get this horse. Willpower Fashion. I can't wait to see him trained down. And last but not least, number Z, letter Z. Z or Z if you're in the States. Zeb Sunshine. This is a guy we all thought would go for a lot more money. We got him for a lot less than we thought. Well-bred, very well-bred colt. Had an OCD in his hock. Took it out. He'll be ready to go by open house day. You're not going to see him next week. You'll see him the week after, and the week before the open house, he'll be ready to start jogging. We'll have him in a set on open house day for you. But Zeb Sunshine, as I said, king of the balls in that family in vitro. He's out of who's he out of? I think he's out of in vitro. Anyway, the whole family's just stacked. Probably one of the better bred horses we have outside of Effusive, along the same lines as Effusive, except Effusive is a Father Patrick, which I would suspect Curry's a lot more favor than the Sunshine Beach, but both very, very good horses. Look, Harry's pissed. Look, he's still jogging. Curry's a lot of favor with us for sure. The Sunshine Beach have been very, very good. And in regard to Zeb Sunshine, certainly no complaints here. Very, very happy with what I've seen from Zeb's Sunshine. Got that OCD out. Everything else is good. He fluoroscope perfect. We're ready to go. So that's it. We're going to talk about 2 other horses and insert them in a minute. But that's it for the list of the yearlings. We got through them all. Curtis is tired. He wanted to leave over an hour ago. I sucked him into staying here. But I'm glad you stayed because your phone came in very, very handy. So that's it. That's it. We had a great day today. Didn't get to do the drone. We'll be back in 7 days with the drone. I gave you a list of all the horses ready to go. All the barns. Was that all the barns? It was, wasn't it? I think it was all the barns. Everybody where they're at, where their training level's at, when they're ready to go. So in 2 to 3 weeks at the most, we'll have upwards of 30 horses racing here at the stable. By the time the open house comes, we'll have over 20. And then we have all these babies that are going to be going. A lot going on here at the stable. Don't forget about the open house. A lot going on here in the next 3 weeks at TheStable.ca. Might not have brought you the drone, but I brought you a list of everybody and what they're doing. Talk to you guys. See you guys next week.